humanity precedes our religious differences, and that our religious differences are the many and particular expressions of your universality. Look with compassion, O Lord, on the whole human family, whom you have made in your image and according to your likeness. Take away the arrogance, fear, and hatred which infect our hearts. Break down the walls that separate us and unite us in bonds of love. Open the borders of our hearts and minds and guide us in the way of holy friendships, that we may learn to better love you, one another, and ourselves. Give wisdom, creativity, and perseverance to all who work for unity, peace, and freedom for all people. Guide the leaders of our religious traditions and the nations of the world, especially our Durham CAN organizers and IAF leadership, in the ways of your peace and justice. Grant us inquiring minds, searching hearts, and curious spirits, that we might deepen our own faith by learning of your ways from those who differ from us. All these many things we pray with thanksgiving in your holy name. Ashe and amen.
Good evening. I'm Molly Brummett-Waddell, co-pastor of Emmaus Way, co-chair of Durham CAN's Clergy Caucus, and a member of the strategy team. Something you should know about me, though, is that I think about hearts a lot this time of year. 3 years ago today, our daughter had open heart surgery at a day old. She was born with complex congenital heart disease, and while she'll need more surgery, there was one she had to have right away. There was a narrowing in her heart called a coarctation of the aortic arch. Her surgeon went in and cut out the tiniest piece of that arch, and then sewed the two pieces of her heart with power back together. Trusting, knowing that when the power of her heart came back together, our girl would live and thrive. Now, George Eden ferociously runs and laughs and jumps and talks and sings, and when you ask her about her heart, she'll say, "Special power, special heart, ba-bum, 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 mama." If we're being honest tonight, and I think we should be, due to the upheaval and exhausting nature of the global pandemic, CAN experienced a narrowing of our heart. There are still vibrant, powerful parts within each of us, within each institution, within CAN, but the strong, broad base of CAN narrowed. It weakened. We gather tonight for our refounding, knowing we desperately need to do the work of rebuilding so our heart, our collective heart of CAN, can beat loudly and powerfully for justice and equity in the Bull City. Tonight, I am calling on us to do some heart surgery. We must have the courage to daringly and precisely cut out any narrowing, any apathy, any settling for the status quo, anything that is not bringing life within CAN, keeping us from being a strong, broad-based organization. Then we must carefully and powerfully and intentionally stitch and build CAN's power back together. We must unashamedly stitch together the broad-based power of people and money, trusting that we will return to being the powerful broad base we know we can be because we have been and will be again. We must intentionally stitch and build power, build our remarkable collective power through going back to the fundamentals of training and one-on-ones and internal actions and research actions and listening sessions. And as we stitch our power back together, we must remember that we are organizing with, not for, those being crushed by the unjust systems of this country and this county and this city. We must stitch and build our power back together even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's costly, even when it stretches us and we're terrified and we wonder if it's worth it. We must stitch our power back together even then. And as we do this crucial life-saving work, we do so knowing that CAN Strength and Power increases our capacity to affect and lead change in Durham. And y'all, Durham has a narrowing of its heart too. Our city and county must change because this place we call home does not care for the least and the last and the lost. Some things must be cut out in this city and county. Those who sit in positions of power are too often satisfied with the status quo, the highest bidder, positions of power, and unjust systems, and their stagnated imaginations. People in power in this city and in our county have settled for a weakened, narrowed heart made up of policies and laws and apathy and infighting, which keep far too many of our neighbors from having a thriving, equitable, good life. Far too many in this city and in this county have forgotten the power of a beating heart. But Durham CAN, we are here tonight saying we have not. Tonight, we proclaim that we're here to do the work. We're here to stitch and to build our power back together. We're here to revive the heart of CAN, and in reviving CAN's heart, make Durham a place for all, not just the wealthiest and most privileged elite that keep moving in day and night. Can you feel our heart beginning to beat again? Can you feel our heart beginning to beat again? There's power already in this room. Let us not be afraid then to come together, to stitch and to build our powerful, broad-based organization back so that we can proclaim, like my daughter, Durham CAN, strong power, strong heart, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. We're starting the work of stitching and building power right now, and I invite Elder Blake, Reverend Jacqueline Brett, and Dr. Cullen McKinney up to lead us in this work.
Good evening, Durham CAN. I am the Reverend Jacqueline Brett, lead minister of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, a co-chair of the Clergy Caucus, and a member of the strategy team. And I am so very pleased to be here with so many of you. And I have the great privilege of leading a very important ritual of our meeting. It is known as the roll call of institutions. It is an opportunity for every institution gathered here this evening to let others know of your presence. Tonight, we are here to recommit our numbers to one another as we join as a coalition to build power in the pursuit of justice. In Durham CAN, we measure our power in two ways: organized people and organized money. And this is because we know that without power, we are limited in realizing our vision and values in the world. Without power, we will not be recognized by those who hold power, who wield power. Why? Because as Frederick Douglass once said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. The past successes and experiences of Durham CAN have proven to us that with power, we can demand a seat at the table. With power, we will negotiate on behalf of justice and the needs of our people. With power, we will move the needle. We will change the world for our people in Durham, North Carolina. Our roll call is a display of our power. Tonight, I invite the representatives of each member institution to report the number of people present here with you today. In CAN, we don't make commitments of organized people to the organizers of CAN in private. We make commitments to one another in public as a way to reflect how important our people power is to us. We are accountable to one another because we can't hold any politician, we can't hold any business leader, we can't hold anyone else with power accountable if we don't demonstrate accountability among ourselves first. So, are the leaders of each institution ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? And so as you come forward, leader, say the name of your institution and report the number of people you have present with you this evening. We will add the numbers as we go and report the total at the end. Let the roll call of institutions begin.
I think so. My name is Claire Dillashaw. I'm from Watt Street Baptist Church. I represent 500 people, and we brought 42 with us here tonight.
I'm Peter Velashkin. I'm from Mount Bethel Presbyterian Church. I represent 127 people, and we brought 9 people here tonight.
I'm Donna Hicks from St. Philip's Episcopal Church, representing 750 parishioners, and we have 20 people here tonight.
And we know this is an awesome thing, and yet we'll be here all night if we applaud after each person. Continue.
My name is Makita Dunn, and I'm from Nehemiah Church, Church of God in Christ. We represent over 100 people. We brought 7 with us here tonight.
My name is Rhett Davis. I'm from the CAN Committee of Black Knoll Presbyterian Church. I represent 500 people, and we brought 29 with us here tonight.
Amen. My name is Teresa Tate. I am from Fisher Memorial United Holy Church of America. I represent 200 people, and we brought 12 persons with us here tonight.
My name is Jacob Lancaster. I represent the Duke Graduate and Professional Student Chapter of CAN, representing 10,000 students. We have 29 people here tonight.
My name is Michael Lassiter. I represent First Chronicles Community Church. I represent 60 people, and I believe we have 3 people here tonight.
My name is Tom Harris. I'm from Pilgrim United Church of Christ. We represent 150 people, and we have 10 people with us tonight.
My name is Brenda Bradsher. I'm from the Grant Street community. We have 5 people, represent 5 people. I have 5 people here tonight. We are small, but we are tall in stature.
My name is Matt Smith, representing Trinity Avenue Presbyterian Church. I represent 407 people, 28 of whom are with us tonight.
My name is Rachel Hardy. I represent New Creation United Methodist Church, and we have a membership of 150 families, and we we brought 5 here this evening.
My name is Italo Medelius, representing Immaculate Conception Catholic Church. We represent approximately 3,500 families, and we have about 105 joining us here today.
My name is Susan Dunlap. I'm from First Presbyterian Church. I represent 540 people, and we brought 21 with us tonight.
My name is Phil Jakes. I'm from Emmaus Way Church. I represent about 115 people, and we have 29 with us tonight.
My name is Rick Larson. I'm with Duke Memorial United Methodist Church. On behalf of our 500 members, we want to welcome you. And we have 34 people here with us tonight.
I'm Joni Novak from Holy Infant Catholic Church. I represent 2,477 people, and we have 8 here tonight.
My name is Sheen Matuma, and I work on Workers United. I represent 4 people.
My name is Lynn Howard Vaughn. I represent River Universalist Unitarian Church. We have 1,000 people that I'm representing, and we have 27 people here tonight.
My name is Regina Mays. I represent Monument of Faith. I'm not sure of how many people we're representing, but we have 12 people here with us tonight.
My name is Jordan Wade. I represent Judea Reform Congregation. We have 1,500 people we're representing, and there's 4 of us here tonight.
My name is Mark Kolufke. I'm from the Durham Friends meeting. We represent 140 people, and we have 4 of us here tonight.
My name is Mark Anthony Middleton. I represent Abundant Hope Christian Church, representing about 240 people, and we have 25 here tonight.
Ajax Woolley, representing Durham Community Land Trustees. We have 2 people at least here tonight, and we represent 400.
I'm Rachel Galanter. I'm from Bethel Synagogue, which has 400 member families, and I'm here on behalf of the Racial Justice Task Force, which is 15 of us, and 3 of us are here tonight.
I'm Meg Hoffman from Oak Church. I represent about 100 folks, and I think there's 7 of us here tonight.
Hi, my name's Matthew Thomas. I'm with the Duke Graduate Students Union, representing 2,500 grad workers, and there's 2 of us here tonight.
So thank you, Durham CAN. We'll now hear from Elder James Blake of Fisher Memorial Church, who will talk to you about the power of organized money.
Good evening. Again, I am James Blake, pastor of Fisher Memorial United Holy Church, a member of the strategy team, and a co-chair of the Clergy Caucus. So all of us who are here this evening are aware that in order to accomplish great things, there is a single necessity, and that is we need money. In the Christian faith, there is a scripture found in Ecclesiastes 10, verse 19, "A feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things." And though often we shy away from talking about money, it's important to know that not only money is needful, but it's crucial to understand why we need money. As just presented to you, it's true, Durham CAN organizes people. But I also want to make you aware that Durham CAN organizes money. Please allow me to quickly expound that the reason that Durham CAN organizes money is so that the organization is able to operate as a nonpartisan organization, politically independent. We're not in anyone's pocket. Durham CAN is able to fight the big fights, speak truth to power, because Durham CAN is not in the pockets of those who are in the positions of influence and authority. But how does that work? Durham CAN organizes 2 types of money: soft money and hard money. Now, this has nothing to do with paper money versus coins, but it speaks to the origin of the money. Soft money is money that is obtained from grants that Durham CAN applies for and receives. Hard money is money that is donated by Durham CAN member organizations. This can be divided into categories such as dues, fundraising projects, individual donor campaigns. This is money that solely belongs to Durham CAN, generated from within the organization. And so that's how we get money. But how do we use the money that we get? To accomplish the work of Durham CAN, there must be an organizer or some organizers. These are dedicated to the work of Durham CAN and are responsible for training volunteers, interfacing with the community, and recruiting new member organizations. The current staff of Durham CAN are doing an amazing job. It's comprised of our lead organizer, Ms. Ketty Telemack. And we also have an associate organizer, Mr. Hunter Green. Hunter's in the back. And they are doing an amazing job, and we are excited about their approach to organizing. And as you know, there is much work to be done in the city of Durham. This means that Durham CAN could benefit from additional personnel, including an administrative assistant and other associate organizers. So the organized money goes towards personnel, it goes towards IAF dues, training, and office space rental. Now, the need of the community is great, and in order to accomplish what is needed, we rely upon our member institutions to make annual investments to Durham CAN. So as you are partners in this organization, your investment in Durham CAN will bring residuals as we work together to make Durham a city for all, not just for the privileged. So, with enthusiasm and excitement, let us begin the public commitments of our institutional dues. I'm going to ask if you would please state your name, the institution that you represent, and the dues commitment from your institution. And likewise, as we did before, your single clap. Somebody has to make some noise. We in church, right? So at this time, let the roll call begin.
Hi, I'm Rosa Anderson. I represent North Carolina Central University. I represent 12 student leader group, and I have 2 with me today, and we're committed to $350 in membership for 2023. Thank you.
I'm Peter Velashkin. I represent Mount Bethel Presbyterian Church, and we pledge at least $500 in dues for 2023.
I'm Reynolds Chapman, and I represent Mount Level Missionary Baptist Church, and we represent, I didn't get in the first round of numbers of people. We represent 600 people, and we have 5 here tonight, and we pledge $3,000 in dues for 2023.
My name is Makita Dunn. I represent Nehemiah Church, Church of God in Christ, and we have pledged for 2023 $2,600 in dues.
My name is Claire Dillashaw. I'm from Watt Street Baptist Church, and we are pledging $4,000 in membership dues.
My name is Brenda Bratcher from the Grant Street community. We are pledging $250 membership for 2023.
I'm Donna Hicks from St. Philip's Episcopal Church, and we're pledging $8,600.
Regina Mays from Monument of Faith, and we're, pledging $2,500 for year 20.
My name is Rhett Davis from the CAN Committee of Black Knoll Presbyterian Church, and we are pledging $10,000 in dues for 2023.
I'm Rick Larson from Duke Memorial United Methodist Church, and we're pledging $4,000 in dues for 2023.
I'm Phil Jakes from Emmaus Way Church, and we are pledging $1,400, 1% of our budget.
I'm Sherry Taylor, Durham Community Land Trustees. We're pledging $4,500.
I'm Jacob Lancaster from the Duke Graduate and Professional Student CAN Chapter. We are pledging $5,000 for 2023.
My name is Teresa Tate from Fisher Memorial United Holy Church, and we're pledging $1,200 in membership for 2023.
My name is Matt Smith from Trinity Avenue Presbyterian Church, and we are pledging $6,000 for 2023.
My name is Michael Lassiter. I am from First Chronicles Community Church, and we are pledging $1,000 in membership dues for 2023.
I'm Mark Anthony Middleton from Abundant Hope Christian Church, and we are pledging $1,150 for 2023.
My name is Jordan Wade from Judea Reform. We're pledging $2,500.
My name is Tom Harris from Pilgrim United Church of Christ, and we are pledging $1,500 for our membership dues.
I'm Joni Novak from Holy Infant Catholic Church, and we're pledging $2,000 for the 2023.
My name is Italo Medelius from Immaculate Conception Catholic Church, and we're pledging $10,000.
I'm Eugene Lofton from New Creation. We pledge $1,000.
And Howard Vaughn from Eno River Universalist Unitarian Church, and we are pledging $4,500.
I'm Mark Lufke from the Durham Friends Meeting, and we are pledging $1,500.
Susan Dunlap, First Presbyterian Church, $3,000.
Thank you. And if you by chance came here tonight with your check in hand, please make sure that you give that to our lead organizer, Katie Telemack, before you leave here today.
Ooh. Hi, my name is Cullen McKinney, and I'm proud to be one of the co-chairs of Durham CAN's strategy team. I hope you all heard all those numbers. We just organized over 500 people and over $81,000 in institutional dues from you all to build this organization. I was pretty excited to share with other members of the strategy team on Friday that that's the most in institutional dues that Durham CAN has organized in a single year in over 7 years. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's a powerful night tonight, but friends, we need more power. You might ask why. Let me tell you a story. I'll never forget attending a Metro Caucus meeting with about 100 CAN leaders over at Watt Street Baptist Church back in 2017. We were 1 year into Trump's presidency. The administration was rolling out a series of policies and executive orders disrupting and displacing countless immigrant families across the country and here in Durham. We went around the room and each institution introduced themselves and shared why they were at the meeting. At a round plastic table up towards the front in a dusty church basement, a group of about 10 Latino leaders from Immaculate Conception just down the road shared that law enforcement had recently set up checkpoints outside their church before and after Mass. In case you didn't know, Immaculate Conception hosts one of the largest Spanish-speaking masses in the Triangle each and every Sunday. The leaders shared that people were being stopped on their way to worship, arrested, separated from their families, and handed over to ICE. I was sitting at a table with leaders from this church, Duke Memorial. The temperature in the room changed. You could feel something building, a sort of collective moral outrage took root among us. Because no one should have to risk being arrested or separated from their families for going to worship. So we strategized that night and we came up with a plan. We couldn't solve the country's complex immigration issues, but we could organize Durham's police chief and the Durham County Sheriff to stop the checkpoints and refuse collaboration with ICE. How? Well, CAN was instrumental in getting Police Chief Davis hired, but that's another story. And as for the sheriff, an election was coming up, and we decided to make refusing ICE collaboration a key issue for the upcoming sheriff's election. So we planned an action, and over 1,200 people, including many of you, gathered just down the street at Immaculate Conception, and we met with Police Chief Davis and the sheriff's candidates. In case you didn't know, 1,200 people can sway an election in Durham. We gained public commitments that day from both the police chief and now the Durham County Sheriff, Sheriff Burkhead, that they would stop the checkpoints outside of Immaculate Conception and that they would not collaborate with ICE. It was a huge win, and it was a demonstration of how organized people and organized money can affect meaningful change in the lives of our neighbors here in the Durham community. But friends, it wasn't enough. Maybe you've been watching the news the last few weeks. As many of you know, the General Assembly and the State Senate recently passed HB 10, forcing local sheriff's offices to collaborate with ICE. Despite Sheriff Burkhead publicly speaking against it, the General Assembly has passed a bill that can undo at the state level the organizing that we did here locally in Durham. Sadly, I could tell you similar stories of state-level policy change negatively affecting our local organizing related to a number of issues, including affordable housing, and I think many of us will remember the light rail. In short, friends, we need more power. We need more power here in Durham by recruiting more institutions into Durham CAN and developing more powerful grassroots leaders on the ground to identify issues and to act on them. We also need more power at the state and national level so that the local organizing we do here in Durham can't get undone by the General Assembly or the whims of a president. And that's why CAN is part of a statewide organization, North Carolina IAF, and a national network, the Industrial Areas Foundation. Together, we organize around grassroots issues that affect our members here in Durham. And together, we advocate at the state and national level with affiliates from across the country so that our local efforts won't get undone. Power, friends, is fluid. You're either building it or you're losing it. Tonight, we're building our power, but it's not enough. You see, we need to build more power. And we need to build more power so that we can affect and sustain the kinds of change that we hope for here in this community. So tonight we are delighted to welcome dozens of new institutions who can be instrumental as we seek to build more power together to affect the change we hope for here in Durham. If you are here tonight as an institution discerning membership in Durham CAN, would you please stand and remain standing now? I'm going to read you a list of names. And I'd invite you to hold your applause until the end. There's a lot of folks here coming to check our work out tonight, friends, so I hope you'll say hello and be friendly in the parking lots on the way out. Tonight we have with us as discerning member institutions All Saints Church, Asbury UMC, Beth-El, Bright City, Church of Apostolic Revival, Christus Victor Lutheran Church, City Ministries, City Well, Cole Mill Road Church of Christ, Covenant Presbyterian, the Duke Catholic Center, Durham Cares, Durham Congregations in Action, Durham Neighborhoods United, El Buen Pastor, El Futuro, Elizabeth Street UMC, Epworth UMC, Families Moving Forward, First Calvary Baptist, Grace Church, Hayti Reborn, Iglesia Emmanuel, Jubilee Home, Mount Calvary UCC, Network of Families, Oak Church, Parkwood UMC, Parktown Food Hub, the People's Alliance, the Religious Coalition for Nonviolent Durham, 6-8 Church, Southside Community Church, St. John's Missionary Baptist, St. Joseph's AME, St. Joseph's Episcopal, St. Matthew's Catholic, Trinity UMC, Triumphant Church, Union Baptist, Victorious Life Fellowship, Yates Baptist Church, and Westminster Presbyterian. Please give these organizations a round of applause. We've got a lot of power in the room, and we haven't even picked a fight yet. I'd like to invite the next group of leaders to come up and join us, and my co-chair, Bishop Herbert Davis, as they cast a vision for some pathways forward for action for us in Durham CAN.
Good evening, CAN leaders and guests. My name is Bishop Herbert Reynolds Davis, the senior pastor of Nehemiah Church, and I'm a founding member of Durham CAN, and I serve as the co-chair of the strategy team. My task is to speak briefly about how we organize in CAN and what makes us different from other groups. I want to share a brief story about one of our past campaigns. I think this will help you understand how we do what we do. In 2016, after holding conversations with over 2,000 people, we found a great deficiency in, in our public schools regarding the number of counselors available to support our children. We discovered that Durham schools had fewer counselors and psychologists per student compared to other districts within the state. Such a disparity was contributing to a wave of dropouts and youth violence in Durham. Instead of taking it upon ourselves as adults to resolve the problems on behalf of youth, we brought together hundreds of students connected with our congregations and engaged them in training and listening sessions. We did this because we in CAN follow this iron rule: don't do for others what they can do for themselves. The youth themselves called for a meeting with the then superintendent and school board members, but they were largely ignored. So more than 150 students stood together in front of the administrative building of DPS, spoke to the media, and called for immediate attention to their concerns. Within a few hours, they were meeting with the superintendent, school board chair, and they were even invited to one of their public meetings. This kind of necessary recognition got these youth into direct negotiations with a stubborn administration that often cited a persistent lack of funds within the district as the excuse not to support the students' demand. But then the students themselves, they did something most activist groups don't do. We call it a power analysis. It's basically a map of how power is used and by whom. They engaged in a detailed analysis of the funds, the players, their interests, the key decisions, potential allies, and even the enemies of this public proposal. At that point, we learned that the then school board chair wanted to quietly get elected as a county commissioner. In a year where youth violence was at a record high, the chair wanted a low profile and wanted to be seen as pro-youth. This information was used by the students. The youth also found out that Durham Technical Community College had been given millions of dollars to improve student outcomes, including the hiring of counselors. To our surprise, our research revealed Durham Tech had put that money in their reserve fund. Students knew then it was time to put strategic pressure on the chair and invite the chair to a public meeting with 600 CAN students and parents just days before the election. They wanted to ask her to explain how her reluctance to come up with the funds would serve that person well in her plans to be elected as a county commissioner. One day before the action, an influential politician called CAN on behalf of the chair to say they could find $9 million to be dedicated to resolve the problem that had been presented if we only gave the chair a pass during the meeting. Our position was clear: allocate the much-needed funds in the hiring of new counselors, and the chair could be recognized and applauded. Withhold the funds, and Durham voters would make the decision. So days prior to the election, CAN held a nonpartisan public meeting where the school chair promised $9 million, followed by a commitment by the entire school board to support the allocation. Also, the president of Durham Tech stood in front to back the promise. You see, this was a great day for our youth. They alone could never have moved the school board, the county commissioners board, or Durham Tech in one push, much less get $9 million to solve their problem. This story, a real story, it shows us four things. Number one, we don't do this work for others. Those impacted by problems are to lead every campaign we do and operate as key parts of our overall team. Number two, all our actions are based on very deliberate power analysis and planning. Number three, we invest in training and moving leaders into strategic collective action. And then number four, we start the cycle over again because we rely on strong relationships with one another. This is just one example of the great work we as an organization have done in the past. Now, you're going to hear some important stories and testimonies that have emerged from our listening sessions, and it's going to show you the work of some of our action teams.
Muy buenas tardes. Thank you. Yeah. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Oseli Velázquez y soy un miembro de la Iglesia Inmaculada Concepción.
Good evening to everyone. My name is Oseli Velázquez and I'm a member of the ICC Church.
Como ustedes tal vez lo saben, muchas personas de todas las razas viven en condiciones de viviendas deplorables. Este problema es muy preocupante para la comunidad hispana, puesto que además de todos los desafíos relacionados con la mala vivienda, muchos en nuestra comunidad no hablan inglés para poder poner una queja, buscar una solución o pedir una inspección del Departamento de Vivienda.
As you may know, many people of all races live in deplorable housing conditions. This problem is very worrying for the Hispanic community, since in addition to all the challenges related to poor housing, many in our community don't speak English, not to be able to file a complaint, seek a solution, or request an inspection from a housing department.
Déjenme decirles que por medio de Durham CAN y el Congreso Latino estamos buscando la posibilidad de que la ciudad de Durham contrate un inspector de vivienda bilingüe para ayudarnos en esos casos.
Let me tell you that through the Durham CAN and the Latino Congress, we are looking into the possibility for the city of Durham to hire a bilingual housing inspector to help us in those cases.
Sabemos que la propuesta será el foco de las deliberaciones sobre el propuesto de la ciudad que adelanten tanto el alcalde como los otros líderes electos del consejo.
We know that the proposal will be the focus for the city's budget deliberations being conducted by both the mayor and other elected leaders of the council.
Desafortunadamente, hemos conocido que la gerente de la ciudad no está tomando esta petición como prioridad.
Unfortunately, we have learned that the city manager is not taking this request as a priority.
Estamos aquí porque creemos que un cambio en vivienda y un inspector bilingüe será algo muy bueno.
We are here because we want a change in housing, and a bilingual inspector is a very good thing.
Sabemos que la contratación de un inspector bilingüe podrá reducir el tiempo en general de las inspecciones, de manera que en 24 horas o antes la ciudad pueda inspeccionar cualquier domicilio y eso traerá alivio a nuestras familias.
We know that by hiring a bilingual inspector, we could reduce the overall inspection time in general, so it would be in 24 hours or less. That way the city can inspect any address, and this will be a relief for our families.
Entendemos claramente que tendremos que convencer al alcalde y los oficiales electos para que tomen esta propuesta como prioridad.
We clearly understand that we have to convince the mayor and the elected officials to make this proposal a priority.
Es por eso que hoy estamos invitando a la comunidad en general a unirse con nosotros el día 15 de mayo a las 7 p.m. en la oficina del gobierno de Durham, donde presentaremos nuestro apoyo a la propuesta.
That is why today we are inviting the community at large to join us on May the 15th at 7 p.m. at the Durham Government Office, where we will present our proposal for the support.
Necesitaremos un grupo grande. Únanse a nosotros para luchar por lo que es correcto. En esta reunión, cerca al final, tendremos oportunidad de comprometernos a llevar gente de todos los grupos para apoyar. Muchas gracias, los esperamos.
We will need a large group. Join us in fighting what is right. In this meeting, at the end, we will have the opportunity to commit ourselves to bringing people from all groups to support us. We will be waiting for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, familia.
Good afternoon, family.
Traemos saludos de la Inmaculada Concepción de la Inmaculada Concepción de la me la pusieron equivocada. Perdón. Traemos saludos de la Iglesia Católica de la Inmaculada Concepción. Mi nombre es Luis Arredondo.
We bring greetings from the Catholic Church of the Immaculate Conception. My name is Luis Arredondo.
Y tengo 23 años viviendo aquí en Durham y ahora Durham es como mi nueva casa.
And I have been living in Durham for 23 years now, and Durham is like a home for me.
Hace unos años atrás fui víctima de un asalto a mano armada.
¿Puede repetir, por favor?
Esto me causó un trauma grande, por eso hoy estoy aquí, para presentarles brevemente un problema de mucha importancia que afecta a los latinos en toda la comunidad de Durham.
Okay, I was affected by a gunshot wound by assault. That was very traumatizing for me.
Estoy hablando de un problema de los tiroteos y la violencia de las pandillas.
I am talking about shootings and gang violence.
Los tiroteos han sido cada vez más comunes desde el comienzo de este año.
Shootings have been increasingly common since the start of this new year.
En este año, más de 20 personas han recibido disparos en Durham y fueron reportados 96 tiroteos en total desde el primer día del año 2023. Hoy el número más alto en el que estamos nuestra ciudad, compartiendo con los últimos años.
Okay. At least 20 people have been shot in Durham this month, with 96 reported shootings in total since the first day of 2023, a higher number than the previous 2 years.
Creo que nuestra ciudad tiene un serio problema de violencia con las armas con las armas de fuego y las pandillas. ¿Y qué podemos hacer nosotros? Un cambio correcto.
Okay, I believe that our city has a serious gang violence and shooting problem. What can we do that is correct?
Entonces involucrémonos, unámonos al equipo de investigación de CANAM, de Durham CAN, para trabajar en este propósito juntos.
Okay,
Podemos hacer la diferencia en nuestra ciudad y comunidades.
Okay, so if we want to change, we need to get involved. That's why we will join the Durham CAN research team to work on this issue with the support of all communities.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes a todos.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Mi nombre es Belisa Vélez.
My name is Belisa Vélez.
Soy miembro del Sindicato de Trabajadores Unidos.
I'm a member of the Workers United Union.
Trabajo en la lavandería industrial de Evergreen, acá en la ciudad de Durham.
I work at the Evergreen Industrial Laundry here in the city of Durham.
Tengo 17 años de trabajar, de compartir experiencias y sufrimientos, yo y todos los trabajadores allí día a día.
I have been working in that plant for 17 years now, and I want to share experiences and suffering that I and other workers have lived there every day.
El trabajo que hacemos en de lavar toda la ropa sucia que viene del hospital de Duke.
The job that we do is to wash all the dirty clothes that comes from Duke Hospital.
Ese trabajo es muy duro en cualquier época del año, ya que en el invierno la temperatura es bien fría y en el verano es sofocante como lo hacemos.
This work is very hard at every time of the year, since in the winter the temperature is very cold, and in the summer it's unbearably hot. How do we do it?
Primero, esa ropa pasa por un proceso de escogerla y dividirla. Mucho de esa ropa viene con todo tipo de suciedad del hospital.
First, those clothes go through a process of being chosen and divided. A lot of those clothes come with all kinds of dirt from the hospital.
Viene con sangre, excremento, orines y vómito. Ya pueden imaginarse el mal olor que se vuelve insoportable, pero así hacemos el trabajo.
They come with blood, feces, urine, and vomit. You can imagine the bad smell that comes unbearable, but we still get the job done.
Luego es lavada en varios procesos y diferenciarla luego. Pasa por un proceso de secarla para seguimiento, doblarla, pasar preparada y enviada al hospital bien limpia.
It is washed, and then it goes through several processes to be disinfected. Then it goes through the drying process to be then folded and prepared to be sent back to the hospital very clean.
Nosotros tenemos que cumplir con una cantidad de producción por hora que es difícil de alcanzar, además de no ser bien pagados.
We have to comply with an amount of production per hour that it's difficult to achieve, in addition to not being a well-paid job.
El trabajo es duro y se vuelve mucho más por todas las condiciones difíciles en las que trabajamos. Somos tratados muy mal, nos sentimos discriminados, nos hacen sentir como si no valiéramos nada.
The work is hard, and it becomes much more difficult due to all the overall difficult conditions in which we work. We are treated very badly. We feel discriminated against. They make us feel worthless.
También hay humillaciones hacia los trabajadores y en algunos casos hasta maltrato físico. Todo esto es por un pago que no recompensa el trabajo duro que hacemos.
There is also humiliation towards the workers, and in some cases, even physical abuse. All this is for a payment that does not reward the hard work we do.
Alguien que nunca ha trabajado en este tipo de factoría se podría preguntar, ¿cómo se hace y cómo es que llega esa ropa limpia?
Someone who has never worked in this type of factory might ask, how does this happen? And how is it that clean clothes arrive to the hospital?
Que esa ropa que visten los enfermos en el hospital, ¿cómo es que las batas de los doctores y enfermeras sea limpia?
These are the clothing that the patients wear at the hospital. And people might ask, how are the doctors and nurses' gowns cleaned?
Ahora que ustedes han escuchado esta pequeña historia, puedan imaginarse el esfuerzo y sacrificio que todos los que trabajamos ahí hacemos. Muchas gracias.
Now that you have heard this little story, you can imagine the effort and sacrifice that all of us who work hard at this place make. Thank you.
Is Anita here from the union? Is Anita here? Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure your story's. Oh, he took your story. No, there it is. No, he took your story. It's okay. Wait, he took your story.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank God for technology. Thank you for inviting me to speak. I'm Brianna Van Velzen, a Durham resident of 10 years. Since I moved here, my rent has gone up over $445 per month. However, the last 3 years is where it increased the most, with it being a $200 increase the first year of COVID-19. Right, COVID-19. In 2018, my part of Walltown started getting hot in the rental market. By 2020, I realized that although I'd been a long-time tenant, my landlords, who bought my apartment complex from Bob Schmitz in 2015, were increasing their corporate policies and were trying to get us to move. And it worked on quite a few of my neighbors. The leasing dates came earlier and earlier, and the promised improvements have yet to happen. I've seen my neighbors pushed out, including an elderly woman who had been there for 12 years prior to 2013. I have chronic illnesses that cost me hundreds of dollars a month, student loan debt, and a busy schedule. I can't hold multiple jobs without putting myself in the hospital, so I have housemates. I can't commute without making myself sick, and to be honest, everywhere people are commuting from is unaffordable too. Let me be clear, I am middle class. I am middle class and I have a wonderful job with good benefits, and I make more than a living wage. And I love my job. But I can't afford rent in the same neighborhood I moved into 10 years ago. I won't even be approved for making 3 times the rent with most rentals. I can't afford to buy a house because there's no stock available in my price range. Currently, my housing is stable, but I'm not sure how long my corporate landlord will allow us to live in our apartment, because if we moved out, they would make at least $600 more per month without improving a single thing. And my neighbor of 8 years is a teacher, and she's being pushed out too. My story isn't remotely unique. It's not sad. I'm actually pretty privileged living here in Durham, but I don't want to be housing insecure, and I don't want to continue to see my neighbors become housing insecure either. I want people who need assistance to get it. And I want people to have good housing options here in Durham. This greed for profit needs to stop. Thank you.
Good evening, for real this time. My name is TJ Bryant, and I'm speaking as a Duke student and as a Christian, deeply concerned about how to love my neighbor in the midst of gentrification, displacement, and affordable housing tragedy in Durham. More specifically, I'm here to talk about winning affordable housing on Duke's campus. Recently, I had the opportunity to get lunch with another student to catch up with one another. As we talked, he shared about the classes we took and the plans he had for the summer, but then the conversation took a serious turn. Unlike some of our colleagues in the business school or the law school, many students who feel called to nonprofits or a small rural church simply cannot afford to take on large amounts of student loans for housing. He shared with me that he felt trapped. After several midnight shootouts and escalating rates of violent robberies within the area, he decided to look for another living space. He told me that he had tried everything possible to find better housing. When he applied for high-demand graduate student housing, he was placed on a wait list with little hope in sight. When he researched nearby apartments, everything cost several $100s more with similar to less square footage. He searched for houses he might hope to own one day, but his hopes were shattered. The options were either too far away from campus, or too expensive, or too dangerous. He drove around town looking for rental houses, but they were scarce. Even worse, the free rental homes available were in places even more dangerous than he was currently living. It's not like I'm not trying to find housing, he lamented. It's just that housing in Durham is getting ridiculous. I agreed. This evening, I want everyone to imagine a new possibility for affordable housing on Duke's campus. We have the opportunity to organize around a vision where everyone enjoys sufficient and affordable housing. We have the opportunity to organize against trends of displacement and gentrification. We have the unique and precious opportunity to come together and organize towards the world as it should be. When all the churches, associations, and neighborhoods in Durham CAN come together, we have the power to organize for a better world. Indeed, we have the power to build relational power around some of the most exclusive and private land in Durham. So tonight, we're asking you to organize around affordable housing, not only for Duke students, but for those who work in Duke in every capacity. We're not simply organizing for Duke students, but for janitors and healthcare workers. We're not simply organizing for Duke students, but for everyone affected by the escalating housing prices. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily Yates from St. Philip's Episcopal Church. I want to talk to you today about some of our neighbors. On any given day at 10 a.m., countless unhoused people exit the overnight shelter at Urban Ministries of Durham with no place to go. They take refuge in bus shelters, in the alcoves of buildings, maybe find a place in a public park or sidewalk or median. Maybe we offer spare change, leftover food. Maybe sometimes we look away because we don't think we can really help. But what if we could help? St. Philip's has been in conversation for many years with our community partners, including Durham CAN and Urban Ministries of Durham, to identify ways that we can be better neighbors to the many people in our community who do not have safe, stable, secure, affordable housing. I'm looking out here and I recognize a lot of faces of people who have been doing a lot of this work for a really long time. And I express great gratitude for that. At St. Philip's, we are really thankful for our partnership with Urban Ministries and are proud to be part of that. But over the last several years, in conversations with partners, by what we've seen, and in the lessons that we learned through the pandemic, we've realized that we can do better and we should do better. It's time to modernize the way that we approach providing services to unsheltered people in this city. and we have an incredible opportunity. And that's in pursuing Durham County's ARPA COVID relief funds. Durham CAN's research has shown that up to $30 million of these grant funds are still uncommitted and need to be committed in a short period of time. Our vision is to see those funds allocated to help UMD develop executable plans for a new facility that would expand housing options and shelter and provide day services to give people a place to be, a place to do laundry, to receive mail, to use the restroom in private, to shower, and also to receive coordinated care and services from healthcare providers and other community partners. This is a chance for us to kickstart a long-lasting transformational investment in supporting Durham's most vulnerable people. It's an opportunity for them to receive hospitality and treatment and to be housed, which I think is the basis of beginning a better life. So in seeing a path towards securing this funding from the county, we hope to have a chance for y'all to show commitment and to show up to a meeting and evidence our commitment to the belief in the dignity of every human being, to say that we can help, and we hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Let's give a hand to all of our presenters. You are able to hear firsthand why the work of Durham CAN is so important. Two things. One, we believe in starting and ending on time, and we are going to be a little overtime tonight. So we're asking if you can give us 10 minutes extra. Can you give us 10? Thank you. All right. At this time, we are going to bring to the mic the co-chairs for Metro IAF. Metro IAF is our parent organization, and I am blessed and privileged to serve on the strategy team of that as well with these two individuals, Dr. David Brawley and Mrs. Carol Reckling. Let's give them a hand.
Oh my, ba-boom, ba-boom. I feel power in this room. My name is Carol Reckling. I come to you from Build in Baltimore. And like we say in Build, and I'm asking you, Durham CAN, where else in your town do you have a gathering like this? Few places. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for coming alive. I'm proud of you for the hard work that you're undertaking. On behalf of Metro IAF, I salute what you're doing, and I definitely feel the power in the room. I've learned a lot here tonight, and I hope you have too. And I'm looking forward to seeing your top leaders at our national training, in IAF national training in Baltimore, Maryland, come July. Thank you so much for having us, and you're on a great path.
Good evening. My name is David Brawley. I'm the pastor of the St. Paul Community Baptist Church in the East New York section of Brooklyn. I'm co-chair of East Brooklyn congregations, and I serve as co-chair with Carol Reckling of Metro IAF, and I'm grateful for the leadership of Bishop Davis, who serves on the Metro strategy team. I want to say a few things tonight. First of all, I'm not going to be responsible for taking up the 10 minutes that you just gave. My co-chair, Carol, said that she feels power in this room. I want to say that I feel hope in this room. Last week, I was in Jackson, Mississippi, And you know what they were doing in Jackson, Mississippi? What you're doing right now. 500 citizens coming together, refounding their organization, citizens coming together, building power, having imagination. You know what I was doing the other day? I was in Baltimore with leaders from east of the Mississippi gathered together with hope, with creativity, imagination, building power. And I'm grateful that I was in that room. But can I tell you something? I'm grateful to be here. I'll tell you why. The other day, I was trying to find my way. I was in a brand new place. I was in a mall, and I couldn't find my way in the mall. So I found this map. And you know what the map said? Before I could find my way, I had to locate where I was. And you know what the map said? You are here. You've seen that map. You've seen that map. Can I tell you something? The reason why I feel hopeful is because you are here. Not only do I feel hopeful because you are here, I feel hopeful because we are here together. I want to thank the leaders of this organization who worked together throughout the pandemic to make sure that we had clarity, to make sure that we would work together to build and deepen relationships, and so that you would know that you are not alone. Now, I told you when I started that I'm from East New York. You didn't say anything when I said I was from East New York. Some of you have probably seen that new TV show, East New York. Don't believe anything about that program. Quickly, let me tell you the story. East New York, 40 years ago, disinvested, burnt out, left, abandoned, but there it was. In that room, in that place, just like this place, citizens came together and rebuilt and regenerated that community. 40 years later, over 5,000 homes have been built in East New York. Because we did the hard work of organizing and building power just like you're doing today. Now, my assignment was to give our commitment as Metro IAF. I want to say this to you. I'm from East New York. Because we're from East New York, we never, ever, ever leave anybody behind. And when you get in a fight, we'll be right there. So Durham CAN, get into some big fights. Win some big fights. And I promise you this. When you get into a big fight, Metro IAF will be right there with you, helping you to win any battle and any fight you face. They told me when I got up, they said, you know, raise it up a little bit, hype the crowd up a little bit, and I don't know if it's working, but I've got one more thing to tell you. Metro IAF puts its money where its mouth is. We're going to give $3,000 tonight to Durham CAN. We pledge to stand with you all of the way. God bless you, Durham CAN.
Thank you, Mrs. Reckling and Dr. Brawley. Where do we go from here? We've heard some compelling testimonies and stories of some of the difficulty that residents of Durham are experiencing. The problems and work we just heard about help us to be clear about the need for shared, bold, and large collective action on violence, dignity at the workplace, housing for Latino immigrants, affordable housing, and shelter for the homeless. In the fall, most of the city council, including the mayor, will be up for re-election. This creates a tremendous opportunity for CAN to organize, and watch this, demand change. Because candidates, they just tend to make important promises during election cycles. And we at CAN just tend to hold them accountable to what they say. But we also must be ready to take on the county commissioner board to address the release of millions in those ARPA funds you just heard about. And hopefully they'll get serious once and for all about resolving the problem of homelessness in Durham. And also, we must call that large employer, Duke Hospital and Duke University. We must call them to the table. We must call them to the carpet about the working conditions that they tolerate. And not only do we need to hold them accountable for their working conditions, but also how they use their land to address the need for affordable housing for Durham residents, and watch this, for their own employees. Nurses, housekeepers, cafeteria workers, faculty, and students. You see, we refounded today, but this fall we've got some work. This fall we've got some lifting to do. And these actions will require something from us, from each one of us. They will require building strong relationships. Building strong relationships with each other, but also with those who are impacted by the things we've heard about this evening. It also will require significant turnout at actions. That means it looks something like this. Bigger than this. I like that, Reverend. As well as great unity and focus among ourselves. If we're going to bring change in Durham, we can't allow pockets of people, of power, to put us against each other. I thought I was in church. I was looking for an amen somewhere. This is why we are organizing training for our member institutions on how to move their people effectively to participate in the current vision that you've just heard about. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to gather with your institution to discuss and report back to us on these 4 questions. 4 questions. Number 1, how many from your institution are you sending to the action at City Hall on bilingual inspectors on May 15th at 7 p.m.? How many people from your institution are you sending to the May 15th at 7 p.m. meeting for bilingual inspectors? Number 2, how many from your institution will you turn out for the meeting with the county commissioners on ARPA funds to resolve the issue of homelessness? And this meeting, the ARPA meeting, will be May 22nd with the county commissioners. And then how many from your institution are you turning out for training on how to organize your institution and be ready to be moved for action? This training will be on June 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. And then 4th, how many of your leaders want to participate in any of our action teams? Once again, let me run through these. Are these written out? They have a sheet. All right, so that'll save some time. You have sheets that have these questions. So at this time, we want you to caucus. That means dialogue, talk with those from your institution. And we'll give you about 7 minutes. We're trimming that back from what we were saying. We'll give you about 6 or 7 minutes. Yes. Yes. We're asking you not to leave, please. We're coming to our close, but please, we're asking you not to leave.
We have floor team members, we have floor team members with the sheet. Just raise your hand so a floor team member can get to your institution and give you a sheet. Floor team members, I see people with their hands up who need a sheet here up front for Grant Street. I need a floor team member with a sheet up front for Grant Street. Up front for Grant Street. Right here.
Both county commissioner meetings are at 7 p.m. Both county commissioners' meetings will be at 7 p.m.
How do people get them to you then? Oh, I don't know where they went then. Is there anyone with an extra sheet in hand? We had 30 sheets and we only needed 22, 25, so where are the other 5? So we can give them to the institute. Okay, we're gonna put it up on the screen and we'll ask you to tally, send your tally to Hunter if you hold up your hand so they can give you your tally. Hunter, hold up your hand so they know where to give the tally to. Thank you. As you complete your sheets, go ahead and give them to Hunter. We have 1 minute, 1 minute. We should be bringing sheets up 1 minute. Thank you for being here. All right, about 10 seconds. Sheets should be coming up here to Hunter. All sheets should be coming up here to Hunter. Any more sheets should be coming up here, your tallies.
That's why you tell them 1 minute.
Hunter, behind him, Mindy. Behind. Okay, you gotta go back there and start tallying. Okay.
talk. I'll acknowledge Reverend O'Connor. So just have him stand. All right, text me so make sure I don't forget those. Sheets should be coming in. Please turn in your sheets. Just needs to be one sheet per institution. If there are any sheets that have not been collected, please hold them up in the air and Hunter will come get them. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for filling out those sheets and making your commitments to participate in our next level of action. We are grateful for your willingness to participate. At this time, I want to acknowledge a few of our invited guests. You heard from the two current co-chairs of Metro IAF, but we also have Reverend Patrick O'Connor, who's a past co-chair that came along with them. Raise your hand, wave to us, sir. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. And we also are privileged to have some of our sister organizations within North Carolina IAF family here. And so we're grateful for One Wake. That is our sister organization in Wake County. And we also have some of the organizers from the North Carolina Latino Congress. We appreciate them. And then any elected officials that are here, we ask that you'll stand that we can acknowledge you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, Reverend Mark Anthony Middleton. Also, Martin Trimble, our co-director for IF. We appreciate him. Let's give him a hand. We are tallying up the numbers so that we can announce them, but we've done a phenomenal job today coming what we, I guess, would call somewhat a post-pandemic, but our first serious public action in over 3 years, and our total tally ended up being 641 people. Oh, come on, that deserves a better hand. 641 for the refounding of Durham CAN. At this time, we're going to call to the podium another one of my colleagues, Reverend Tanya Johnson, who is a member of the strategy team and the clergy caucus.
Good evening. I am Reverend Tanya Johnson, Associate Pastor of Abundant Hope Christian Church. I am stripped tonight, but I'm going off strip. Because you cannot sit and hear pain in the voice of these stories. One thing I know about CAN, we believe in power, but we have compassion. Molly talked about the heart. Are there hearts in this place tonight? We organize by power and money, but we also are moved by compassion tonight. I didn't need an interpreter to tell me the pain in the voices of those who are amongst us. And if they have any hope tonight, take this assurance that Durham CAN will be with you. We stand with you, and we will not stop. As we regain our power and our voices, we have spoke for many before, and we will not stop. As we have gained our momentum and our footing, we will let no one fall because you don't have what you need. I believe Durham is a great city, and I stand for what Durham is doing. But I stand against anyone that would rise up on the backs of any person. I refuse to let anyone cry all night long. Can you imagine the story of the laundry worker? Reminded me of slavery. It reminded me of the stories my grandmother told me, how they cried out in the fields in the hot, blazing sun, only to make a living, only wanting the same thing we want at the end of the night. They want to go home to a safe place without gun violence. They want to be able to feed their children. They want their children educated. They want the same thing we want. May not be in the same neighborhood, but they want it. Just because my zip code is not out in Black Horse Run does not mean I do not deserve to have the same thing you have. We're asking you, May 15th, to meet us at Durham City Council, as we will stand together for a bilingual inspector, that they may be able to understand. So as we get ready to go tonight, I'm going to ask you to stand. I have the awesome task of closing tonight. Oh, you're coming with the numbers. Okay, well, we're going to stand anyway. We're going to stand, and what I want you to know tonight, there's a cutting of the heart. Molly said it. Her baby lives, and so will many live by what we do in this room tonight. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Yeah. Say this after me as we stand. More power, more people, more progress. One more time. More people, more power, more progress. We've got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to doing it with you.
All right, as you're standing, I want to celebrate tonight the commitments. John Lewis once said, "Nothing can stop the power of a committed and determined people to make a difference in our society." You might ask the question, why? It's because human beings are the most dynamic link to the divine on this planet. You are the link to the divine, and that's why you have power. And because of that, you've organized today some numbers. So you've committed on May 15th for 194 people to pack out City Hall. Give yourselves a hand. You've committed tonight to pack out the county commissioner's office with 202 people. And you've committed tonight to train 145 core team members. Give yourselves a hand. And as you go out of this place, remember, more people, more power, more progress. One more time, more people, more power, more progress. Thank you and have a good night. We will be doing our evaluation for those who spoke and had any in the back. Please come to the rear right now for an evaluation. Thank you.